Hi, Dr. Khan. My name is Pearl Tenney. For our creative project, Tara Walsh and I decided to focus on a consumer issue that we find to be very important as well as prevalent in our society. Our consumer issue is adulthood obesity. According to clevelandclinic.org, today 66% of Americans are considered overweight or obese. But first, before I continue, I would like to explain the differences between the terms of overweight and obesity. Obesity is defined according to Cleveland Clinic as an excessive amount of body fat, whereas overweight is defined as an excessive amount of body weight, which includes muscle, fat, bone, and water. In adulthood obesity, there are several causes. There are some where an individual can't control, such as genetic factors, and then there are some factors that an individual can control, such as their aspects of cultural influences, environmental factors, eating habits, and the amount of physical activity. So, let's talk about the factors that a person can control. So, starting with their BMI or their body mass index, an individual can use this tool to assess or monitor any changes in their weight. They're mostly assessing for any obesity. So to calculate their BMI is a very, very simple procedure. So what an individual does is they take their weight in pounds, divide that by their height in inches squared, it's an important component, and they multiply that by 703. Once they've done this simple calculation, they take their score and they look for it on the BMI table. Once they find their score, this lets them know where they stand as far as obesity. And the different categories that are offered include underweight, normal weight, overweight, or obese. Now, according to clevelandclinic.org, if an individual has a BMI of 30 or greater, they are potentially at risk for obesity. So with that, preventable methods must be implemented and help as far as handling their obesity or incoming obesity has to be taken care of. So another factor we can control is what we put in our mouths, what we eat. So eating habits are very much so affected with obesity. Eating healthier foods such as leafy vegetables, fresh fruits, beans, some dairy, and smaller portions definitely help promote a more balanced diet. A more balanced diet means a more healthy body. And a healthy body is a nice area for, a decrease. Well, it's a nice area so you can be healthy, but it also helps to decrease the possibility of getting other health conditions. So another area that an individual who has just been diagnosed as obese or is at risk for obesity that they can control is their amount of physical activity. Generally, on average, it's recommended that an individual gets at least 30 minutes of moderately intense exercise every day. And if someone who has been previously diagnosed with obesity, it is imperative that they start from 60 to 90 minutes of exercises. So at first, it can be hard to say, oh, I need to go to the gym and find a way to exercise or work out or, start weight-bearing exercises. But it's all about little steps. It's not something that someone can start right away, but rather it's a gradual process. So when at work, if you have a very sedentary position, get up at times, walk down the hall. If you're parking your car, if you have a car, park it far away from your location, take a walk back, take the stairs instead of the elevator, take a nice jog in the evening, a nice brisk walk. There are so many different ways a person can implement physical activity without necessarily going to the gym, although it is recommended. Another cause of adulthood obesity is due to the unequal ratio of the amount of calories an individual ingests to the amount they actually burn. That's why it's very important to implement physical activity when trying to lose weight or to maintain a certain weight. Just because someone is, has a slender build or an obese build, that doesn't make them any less or worse or better off. People who have smaller built or a smaller BMI score need to monitor their weight, and they need to, have great eating habits and keep exercising and watching, their surroundings, and trying to control the factors that they can't control despite any genetic factors they may have. Adulthood obesity is something that I believe occurs over time. So from any stage in life that an individual is at, whether they're childhood or adolescent, if you see your family, tends to carry the genetic traits of obesity, it's imperative that an individual starts wherever they are to start on this process of weight control. It's a process, according to Cleveland Clinic, it takes a while. It's something you have to continuously put effort, continuously make up in your mind, hey, I'm gonna do this. It's not gonna be easy, but it's gonna be worth it. Because not only does obesity affect an individual's physical aspect, it affects their emotional and mental as well. They are ridiculed, they face discrimination and prejudice, things that no human being deserves to have to deal with. So getting your weight in shape is not only a cosmetic thing, but it also helps mentally and helps with self-confidence. So the adulthood obesity is a very holistic healing process to it, not just the physical, but the mental and emotional. So with that said, to conclude, adulthood obesity is very common, but as far as treatment, it's a very subjective thing, but there are various ways that an individual can control their obesity or their risk for obesity. Thank you.